This is LT Melton with FetchYourNews.com, and we're here with Fannin Rebels head football coach Jim Pavao. Coach, you had a player play in the All-Star game recently. Talk a little bit about Cody McPeek and him playing in the All-Star game.
Yeah, Cody was selected to play in that North-South All-Star game. It was a great honor for him and for the program and for the school. And it was played down in Columbus, Georgia, back in late December, and they went down there and practiced for a couple days, and then they had their North versus South, and Cody started at tackle for him, and then played some guard and center, and had a real good game. And his team, North team, actually beat the South. I think the final score was 14-10, and he was in on the winning drive and all that towards the later in the game, fourth quarter also. And so he had a good experience. I talked with him about it. I didn't get to go down because I was out of town myself, but we had several of our folks that went down to watch, and but talking with him, he really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and get to play against a lot of really good high school players from here in the state, senior high school football players from here in the state of Georgia.
Now, you talked about it being good for the program. What does having a player in those games do for just the recognition and I guess maybe some of the PR for Fannin football?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for a lot of those Atlanta-type schools that really don't know much about, Fannin County, because it's a small area, and a lot of those kids, especially the city kids, haven't really been up here. It just kind of gets our name out there as a school, and hey, we have quality football players, and there are a lot of quality football players up here in North Georgia, and we were fortunate to have Cody be one of the kids that was picked.
Now, how does that nomination process come about?
Through the Georgia Coaches Athletic Association, and we just nominated him, and then all the nominations they got for linemen and backs and receivers and defensive linemen, linebackers, so on, and then they go through it, and then they decide based on the information they got from coaches, and maybe a couple of the coaches that are some of the coaches that are on the coaching staff that have been selected as the head coach, assistant coaches, and so on, maybe know of that player because they're from that area, and so it was just it's a long process, but he got through it, and they picked him, and we're excited about it.
Now, clearly, it's good for the program. It's good for him. How does that affect his quote-unquote recruiting process? He hasn't signed with anyone yet, has he?
Matter of fact, though, he's going up this Friday. He'll be up at Tusculum College in Greenville, Tennessee. Their NCAA Division II school. He'll be up there visiting this weekend, and we're pretty sure they're going to offer him. And so I think that's right now his number one choice, and so if they offer him, I think he's going to accept it. So we're hoping that happens this weekend. If not, we'll just keep on pounding the pavement until we find something for him.
Now, you guys have quite a bit of talent on this team. You had, I believe it was 18 players make your all-region team. Obviously, Cody got even more recognition. Talk a little bit about the talent you have on the team and what you're seeing, obviously, in this offseason as you prepare for spring and summer and next season.
Right. Well, Cody made that all-star team, and then, of course, he was also selected AJC, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, first team All-State AAA. And so we're real proud of that, because I think that's the first all-state player in football that the school has had since around 2008. So that's, 6+ years ago. And so we're real excited about that, proud of that. And again, that's more, recognition for the program in North Georgia football. And then we had, Cody, of course, made all-region offensive line. And then we had Tyler Beaver, who made all-region running back, and Brad Davis, who made all-region as a quarterback, and then first team. And then we had Daniel Lang, who made first team receiver, and I'm leaving somebody out. Jared Petty made first team defense, a linebacker. And then on second team, we had 4 players. Cooper Earls, I know I'm going to forget somebody, but I don't have a list from him. Cooper Earls as a receiver, Hunter O'Neill as a receiver, Tyler Jones as a offensive lineman, And then
I think you had a guy.
You had Daniel Kinzer.
Yeah, I was about to say you had
defensive line. And then we had 4 or 5 guys that made. So that was 10 that really made the all-region team.
Right.
And then we had about 6 of them that were honorable mention. We had Dakota Queen, a linebacker. Andrew, my son Andrew Pavao, as a linebacker. We had Dylan Frank as a defensive back. We had let's see here, Logan Ledford as a defensive lineman. We had Will Davis, our center, made that honorable mention, and Kai Russell, our kicker. And I don't think I left anybody out, but if I did, I apologize to that individual. But that's a pretty good laundry.
That's a pretty good list. Yeah, right off the top of the head too. No notes. I'm impressed. You mentioned your son making the honorable mention team, and we're talking about Cody. Talk a little bit about how Gary's job changes a little bit as he's taking his son on these recruiting trips, and obviously he has to focus on that, but he's still your offensive coordinator, and I'm sure you have to make allowances for some of the things he has to do.
Really, not really. I mean, he's done a great job as far as, getting his responsibilities done and then some, and then taking Cody to where he needs to take him. Matter of fact, we just went up to a clinic up in Nashville this past weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, an offensive clinic. We took all our coaches, even our defensive coaches, and our middle school coaches, and 2 of our rec coaches we took, 2 of the 7th grade coaches. And so he's really doing a great job there. And, at the same time, while he's helping his son, he's putting other kids' names out there.
Right.
And so it's been good because actually we're getting extra help. Because as a coaching staff, we want to try and help as many kids as we can. And of course, nowadays recruiting is such a process.
Right.
And the kid really has to stay on top of it. I mean, they have to. It's not like the old days where they just call you and send mail, because they can only call you so much. It's limits they can do. And so we try to emphasize the kids, hey, if you really want to play football, college football, yeah, they'll recruit you, but you're really going to have to recruit them.
Right.
Too. You're going to have to go visit. You're going to have to call them. You have to email them, text them, whatever. Keep in touch with them. Get them film. Apply to school. You can't just sit around and like the old days, and they can call you every other day.
Right.
And make sure that you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. So, but Gary's kind of helped us with that, and so I haven't. He's not the type to slack off on anything. He's 100%. He gives you 100% of the time. So. It's been good. It's actually been a plus because, like I said, we've got a few younger kids' names out there, because schools are looking at Cody.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that tends to happen a lot where another kid gets an offer, because sometimes it's you looking at the competition or looking at a kid on your team. What does that do for the kids? I know they have that strong work ethic, but does it give them a little something extra to know that, Cody's getting looked at and maybe I'm getting looked at? Does that put not pressure, but maybe a little something extra to look forward to?
It puts a little fire under them.
Right.
To where they'll work harder in the weight room. I always try to emphasize those things because, if you want to play college football, you better do good in school.
Right.
And so it's always kind of one of those things where you're putting that the prize out there. The prize to some of them, hopefully, is to play college football. And to play college football, obviously, you've got to be a good student.
Right.
And so that encourages. Maybe they don't want to be a good student. Well, hey, it doesn't really matter if you want to be a good student.
You have to.
You have to be if you want to go play college football. So it's not whether you want to be a good student, so do you want to play college football?
Right.
Well, if you do, then you're going to be a good student. And then weightlifting and speed and practice. The practice intensity that you can't practice like a middle school kid if you want to play college football. Because in college, high school football is we try to have really intense practices, but if you go to college practice, it's the next step up. Because even if it's not as it's no more intense as far as effort, but everybody there is a really good player in college, and you don't get any breaks because all of a sudden you're going against a lesser player. Right. You may be going against a lesser player, but it's not less or less. It's still, he's a college football player, and he's obviously was a standout player on his high school team. That's why he's playing college football.
Right.
So you try to ratchet up those things and get them to understand that if they want to play college football, if they want to, utilize that as a carrot and kind of get them to work harder. Because when they get there, it's college football nowadays is a full-time job.
Yes, sir.
So they better learn how to work, and so it's not a big, a shock to when they get there and then they quit, or all of a sudden the coach is not really happy with them because they don't understand, hey, you got to lift weight, in one day. You got to lift weights, you got to go to class, you got to go to treatment, training room, you got to come to meeting, you got to go to film, you got to go to practice. After practice, you got to watch some film. And that's just day one.
Yeah.
Now repeat that for the next 6 months.
Right.
Because, college season just ended last night.
Yeah.
And so if you want to be at that upper level, playing on a good team, championship team, obviously, you're gonna the season starts in August and it goes all the way into December if you're a bowl team,
yeah.
and January if you're now a playoff team.
Right.
In Division I, if you're Division 2 or 3, their playoffs are still going on in December. So you've got to be willing to play, make a big commitment. And of course, they take a week or two off and then they're right back into weights and spring practice.
It's year round, basically.
It is. It's a full-time job all the time.
Now, in high school football is a little similar. Your job is year round. Talk a little bit about your off season, the team's off season. I know you're looking at your spring practices and spring games, setting that all up. Talk a little bit about where you see the program going during the off season and into next year.
Yeah, we're really concentrating on developing speed with the kids. I mean, of course, we're lifting weights, so we've got the kids lifting weights 4 or 5 days a week. And we're going to work on speed 4 or 5 days a week. And, and that's just, we started that the Monday we finished that last game in Franklin, and we got right back into it. And the only time we've taken off was Thanksgiving vacation and Christmas vacation. And we're right back into it now. And, we're going to start getting the middle school kids, the 8th graders, the upcoming kids, get them to start coming over after school workouts 4 days a week. We're supposed to come today, and then we'll get the rest of them in the next week or so. And so it's just kind of one of those things where it's we've already started the process, and where we feel we can be a good football team. We had a lot of younger players. We started 8 10th graders and 1 9th grader, and so we feel our core right there, a good core of our team is returning young players.
Right.
And not like that, so we've got them. They had a whole full 10 games this year, plus a spring practice. Now going to another spring practice, and then for 2 more years, that
right.
class, that 10th grade class. And we've had, of course, our junior class, rising senior class is, it's not a big class. It's about 12 or so kids returning from last year's team. And but there's some good quality players in there.
Right.
Jack Roper, Jared Petty, and so we're Daniel Kinzer, Dylan Frank, and on. So some strong players there. And now you put a strong group of seniors, even though it's not a big group, backed up by a junior class that has a lot of experience and a lot of talented players. We're feeling that we could be pretty good next year. And our kids are feeling real confident. The season didn't really end the way we wanted it to. I mean, we were 4-4, and to lose the last 2 games, ended up 4-6, and being that close to making the playoffs and not making, that was a little disappointing. But I think they're over that. Right. And they're now saying, hey, they look back, reflect, and say, okay, what can we do, to be in the playoffs next year and compete again, for a region championship. And that's, you get back in the weight room, you've got to get faster. Right. We're not slow. We're just not fast enough, and so I've talked to kids really hard about emphasizing speed work, and that's why we've gone from working 2 or 3 days a week to 5 days a week. We're going to put in at least 20 minutes every day in speed work, and that's not a negotiable. That's got to be right. And we've got to get better. We've got to develop more team speed, because we've got some fast guys. Right. And that's not, the main thing isn't just, well, how many. I mean, do we have a fast guy here and a fast guy there? Do we have overall team speed? Right. Because those 1 or 2 guys aren't always going to have the ball in their hand on offense. Or those 1 or 2 guys aren't always going to be able to make the play on defense. Right. So you're going to need other, you're going to need other guys to get the ball in their hands, and can they make a big play when the opportunity arises, because they got enough speed to make it happen, to come in and get chased down from behind, like a lot of times we did this year. And then defensively, having that good team speed to where now you're not giving up big plays. Right. Because you're closing gaps, holes that look like they're there, and it's going to be a touchdown, and all of a sudden it closes and it's a 8 or 10 yard gain instead of a touchdown. Right. And 8 or 10 yard gains don't sound good to people, but it's a whole lot better than giving a touchdown.
Right.
And
Better than 60-yard game.
that's right. And that's what happened to us this time of year. There were times, and actually I was talking to one of our defensive coaches, Bobby Evans, and he said, there's times it looked like we were in pretty good shape and we'd give up a big play because we were just that one step slow.
Right.
And so we're not dog slow. We just got to get faster. And the kids know that, and they have the potential to do that because they're younger and they work hard. It's just a matter of developing leg strength, more flexibility, and more running technique, and we're working on all those things right now. And so it'll happen. I mean, for us, we know it's going to happen. Just what degree of team speed do we develop? Do we develop a little bit more team speed or a lot? That's what we're really focused on now.
All right, well, Coach, I appreciate your time, and good luck throughout the season.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you interested in our team.